Welcome to the CyberScotland podcast. My name is Kirstie Steele. I'm the CyberScotland community lead. In this episode, we're going to focus on practical steps that you can take to become more cyber secure. And we'll talk you through some of the free resources and support available to help you stay protected at work and in your personal life. My guest today is Daniel Devine from Digital Skills Education. Now, Daniel is a trainer who specialises in cybersecurity, and he's taught hundreds of workers across Scotland ways to keep secure online. So welcome, Daniel.
Hi, Kirstie. It's great to be here.
Thanks for joining us. So now, tell me, Daniel, I've heard that you were using your cybersecurity skills to steal a pizza. Is that right?
You know what, that is right, Kirstie. So alongside writing courses and making materials for adult learners, I also make resources for school pupils. And one of the resources that I've created is called How to Steal a Pizza. And in that resource, it's like an interactive game. School pupils get to steal pizzas in the name of ethical hacking. So yes, I was in Berlin last week showing teachers how they can make use of this free resource.
I've seen lots of school pupils play this across Scotland, stealing lots of pizzas. I've been on the channel with you, and it's a great fun ways to kind of learn those cyber security skills, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the activities are great that the team have made. So yeah, if you have children or you help out at like a youth group or something, then check out the resources on cyberskillslive.com. We've got ones on ethical hacking, penetration testing, security architecture, picking better passwords, lots of different topics around cybersecurity, but with a bit of storytelling and dramatism around them too.
Yeah, and the pupils can learn a little bit more from either the hacker's perspective and trying to break into these different companies, or they can take it as part of the cybersecurity team and they're trying to protect that organisation from being hit by cyber attacks.
Yeah, some of them definitely have a bit of a red team feel, where it's more about ethical hacking, like how to steal a pizza, how to rob a bank. But on the other side, we've got the ones which are much more about defence, like save the hospital, defend the power network and things like that.
These are great fun resources, and as you said, they're all free and available for anybody, I guess, could play along. You don't have to be a school pupil, although they're aimed at that age group.
Yeah, no, go for it. I think they're fun.
It's a great way to start our podcast. So we're looking at ways that, we're banking and shopping and streaming online. So, us as individuals, we need to be aware and be more secure than ever. And some of the best pieces of advice that we're promoting is the Cyber Aware campaign, which is the UK government's advice about how to stay secure online. And the Cyber Aware website has about 6 key steps and tips that you can do to kind of help boost your cybersecurity. And the advice covers everything from choosing passwords, ways to make your accounts more secure, and best practices for updating and backing up your data. And the Cyber Aware has some great guides, but we've also got some versions of it here in Scotland that's been tailored for us. Isn't that right, Daniel? What is the thing that you have made for Scotland?
Yes, so our team at Digital Skills Education, we have produced an e-learning version of the Cyber Aware guidance. So the Cyber Aware guidance is sort of 6 key points, like you say, Kirstie. And what we've done is we've kind of turned into a video lesson that you can watch and you can answer some questions. You can learn a bit more about how to make an unbreakable password, or how you can turn on certain security features on your devices, or how to create your own backup strategy. It's just a slightly more in-depth look at those 6 key pieces of guidance and making it applicable and appropriate and at a level that sort of everyone can understand and everyone can make those changes. Because those 6 pieces of advice, Kirstie, if everyone in the country followed those 6 things, like choosing better passwords, backing up their data, making sure you do software updates, almost all of the big cyber attacks and disruption that we've had wouldn't happen. We'd be so much safer collectively if we all followed these pieces of advice. And there's no reason that we can't. So that's why we've produced this e-learning course. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for as many people as possible to kind of be more secure. And if you know you're making better decisions, you're going to feel more confident when you're using technology as well.
I think you're right. I think those tips there are easy for people to do. Like a lot of the time, people think, oh, it's really complicated and it's too difficult to, do these sort of things. But those cyber-aware messaging is basically sometimes just a case of going into your settings and enabling that security feature or downloading that app to kind of help make you better passwords or create them or store them securely, for example. And like you said, having those basics in place, that's something that we always kind of try and drill into people, that getting those basics right and that foundation can really make the difference. So how long does it take for somebody to kind of go through this e-learning resource and find out a little bit more and basically complete the e-learning?
Yeah, if you could put aside 20 or 25 minutes, you could complete this course. And then I would say again, give yourself a bit of time afterwards to make those changes. But they're all small, easy to change. Basically, a lot of them are kind of what we call like cyber hygiene. They're just small changes to your habits that do make a big difference. Or you were saying, Kirstie, there are some settings that we recommend you change. Give yourself a bit of time to do that as well. But you don't have to watch the whole video in one go. You could watch it in 2 10-minute chunks or whatever works for you.
And do people need an account to access it?
Anyone can access the resource. So if you go onto our website, which is digitalskillseducation.com, you'll find it linked to on the homepage. It's called the Cyber Aware Workers Toolkit, and it's an interactive video. You don't need an account. You don't need to be using a particular type of device. So if you prefer to watch videos on your phone, watch it on your phone. If you prefer to use a tablet or a laptop, you can do that too. It's an interactive video with a few questions in it.
That's right. So I've done the course, and as you play along, you stop and challenge us a little bit and make sure that we are listening and paying attention as we do it and are making those changes, so that it's not something that you just hit. It's not a video. It's really, you have to kind of feed back and play along essentially to the course.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a few places where it pauses and we then link to some good news articles, or we link to the actual guides for the devices you have. So when we talk about giving some advice about, say, storing passwords or saving them in a secure way, well, we give you a few examples of different apps you can use to do that, and we link you straight to the pages that you can find out more about it.
That sounds really great, and something that's easy for people to kind of use in spare 20 minutes and go through. So a great resource. Thank you. Now, Cyber Aware, those 6 tips, we know that doesn't cover everything, and we know that people might have other questions related to cybersecurity that they might want to know the answer to, or they might want something, explained in simple terms. So Daniel and I are hosting our own series on YouTube. So we get people to send us questions about cybersecurity, and we basically help answer them, or at least we try to. Is that right, Daniel?
Yeah, sometimes we have to look up the advice first, but yes, we will answer your questions.
So each of the episodes that we do are about 15 minutes long for people to play. So it's perfect if you want to watch it on your break, while you're commuting, or before you drop off to sleep. Not that I'm saying that you'll send people to sleep, Daniel, of course. So we've got one of the videos up already that we've helped to answer some of the cyber-related questions. So we've discussed different topics on this series. We were looking at topics like phishing. That's when people send you a link in your email, and we're helping answer those types of things, like what to do if you've clicked on that phishing link in your email. And then we've also answered questions such as like, why do websites ask you to accept cookies? So if these are the types of things that you might be interested in, then you should definitely watch our YouTube series and get your cyber questions answered. Daniel, what other kind of videos have we got lined up?
Yeah, so we've got some more episodes coming soon. We're going to be answering questions about doing backups. We're going to be answering questions about which antivirus software should I use and how do I check it's working. We're going to be answering questions about picking passwords, password managers, and just generally using devices in a secure way. But if you have a question about anything cyber resilience related or cybersecurity related, you can ask us it, and Kirstie and I will do our best to answer that in hopefully an engaging and a kind of practicable way. We try to keep it quite an informal discussion between the two of us to to try and demystify these topics and remove the jargon.
Yeah, and some of them have been really interesting topics as well, and things that we don't always tend to get the opportunity to answer. So if you've got some questions in your mind that you're like, I've always wanted to ask that, where can people send in those questions to us, Daniel?
Yes, so you'll find the form to submit a question underneath episode 1 or any subsequent episodes. So if you find the video series, you'll find it on our website, which is digitalskillseducation.com. It'll also be linked to in the bulletin when the next episode comes out. You'll be able to submit a question from there. I think we'll also link to it in the podcast description. Is that right, Kirstie?
Yes, we'll definitely put it in the show notes for people to make sure that they can watch along and see how well we can answer these questions. But really, really simple advice, good questions that are coming through that, maybe you didn't realise you wanted to know the answer to that one as well. So definitely worth a watch and taking a listen to those videos too. Now, Daniel, some people might prefer to learn in other ways. Maybe it's face-to-face or during a longer sort of course. So we've talked about short video series. We've talked about an e-learning course. Is there other types of formats that people can learn a little bit more about staying secure online?
Yeah, so we actually at Digital Skills Education, we run lots of different courses which are all about staying safe online and being cyber resilient. And some of these are courses that workplaces can book, and some of them we run on a regular basis, and they're free for people to register and attend. So we're currently registering people for our practical cyber resilience course. So that's a 4-hour course. It's split into 2 2-hour sessions. We're going to be running it in January and February, and we're hoping to run some more dates later in 2023 as well. But that's a free course. You can come along and you'll learn a bit about these kind of key cyber resilience messaging and practical things you can put in place. So it's an interactive session. We have lots of questions for you. We have some interactive tasks, but the feedback's been really good. So far, we've had lots of public sector workers come along and get something out of it.
I've definitely seen these advertised as well. And see, at the end of the course, you give something away if people have completed the session. Is that right?
Yes, how could I forget? So if you come to both sessions, if you complete 4 hours of learning with us, you'll be able to claim your cyber resilience badge. And that's a really nice, it's a metal, in fact, I think it's a nickel plated enamel badge. And the only people with this badge are people who have come and done our cyber resilience course. Now, I've actually seen some of these in the wild, Kirstie. I was doing a training session in a workplace, and I went in and someone had the badge, so they'd come along to that course. That was fun to see. But yes, if you come to any part of the course, you get a certificate to recognise your learning. So it might be that helps you justify it to your employer, or you just like to have a record of what you've attended. We'll make sure you get a certificate. But if you complete the course in full, you can get your badge, and we'll post it out to you or to your workplace. It's
definitely something that people can show off in the workplace, isn't it? I actually like seeing the different pin badges and having them on my lanyard as well. I like to have something like that, and that sort of way of proving that you've taken part in this course and you're a bit more cyber aware is a great way to sort of show that off.
Where do you wear your badge, Kirstie?
Mine's is usually on the bottom of my lanyard, which I've taken off so that at the moment that's where I kind of pin mine. But I've seen them on people's lapels as well, or I'm sure I've seen a few people tweet it out as well.
Yeah.
So these longer courses, if people are interested in signing up to some of the ones that you've got up and coming, where can people find out a bit more information about them? Yeah, the best place to look is on the CyberScotland website. They'll be on the events page, but they'll also be mentioned in the bulletin. So if you're subscribed to the bulletin, you'll see an entry in there for the course when we've got more slots available. Now, Daniel, you just mentioned the bulletin there, and I think that's a good one for me to sort of just jump in there and say that if you're not already subscribed, you definitely should, because this is basically a monthly newsletter that you get made aware of in your inbox at work, and it helps basically keep you up to date on all the latest scams and threats that are going about. And we also provide advice to protect against these. So we look at different topics every month, and they are for a variety of people, whether it's you're working in a charity, whether it's public sector, large organisations, small businesses, or just an interested individual. This bulletin will kind of cover everything for you. So there's really great topics in it each month. So definitely worth subscribing to sign up and read more info in those monthly newsletters. So I work at the Scottish Business Resilience Centre, and we have a partnership where we work with ethical hackers who are from Abertay University, and we have come out with a new guide which is basically an introduction to cybersecurity for staff. And the ethical hackers have created this new guide that basically provides an overview of what cybersecurity best practices are, how to spot the common cyber threats, and it's got instructions about developing secure passwords and protecting your accounts. So this is a nice kind of free PDF guide that can be downloaded and kept at hand for reference in future if you need it. And again, we'll link all of these amazing resources that we have so that you can download them and stay more protected.
That's probably a nice compliment to the course, Kirstie. That resource, like I imagine it's probably a bit like a cheat sheet. Maybe don't look at it before you attend.
Yeah.
But after you have attended, it's probably the same advice, but in a much more shortened, condensed format that you can kind of take away a bit like a checklist afterwards.
That's right. I think we are covering a lot of the same advice, and I think that sort of shows the importance of those 6 steps that we are advertising within the Cyber Aware campaign. These are the key things that people can do, and you will be more protected if you put these into practice. And, different ways to learn them, via the e-learning course, the video series, the YouTube channel, actually attending a longer course or the guide. There's different ways that you can basically learn a bit more about these tips, and you will definitely be on a better way of staying protected. So thank you, Daniel, for joining me on the podcast today. Where can people find you and more about the stuff that you are doing?
Yes, you'll find more about the work I'm doing at digitalskillseducation.com. We keep it up to date. We've also got a mailing list at the bottom of the page.
Great. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kirstie. I hope people find these resources useful, and get in touch if you've got any questions that you'd like us to answer in our next video.
So thanks, Daniel, for joining me on the podcast today. We will pop all the links on the show note, but just as a bit of a roundup of what we were discussing on this podcast was different ways that you can stay secure online. And we highlighted some great resources that are free and available for you to use. So we spoke about the Cyber Aware 6 tips, which are available on CyberScotland.com under the Cyber Aware section. We also have a Cyber Aware Workers Toolkit, which is a short e-learning course that you can play through. We have Lead Scotland that have created the accessibility documents so that you can learn these cyber tips in different formats. We have an Introduction to Cybersecurity Guide for staff that's a free PDF. Daniel and I have got a YouTube series called Your Questions Answered, which we can help answer your cyber-related questions. And there's also practical cyber resilience courses that you can sign up to and get involved in. And finally, if you sign up to the bulletin, you will find lots of great links and resources on there. And for the best place to find trusted cyber information and advice across Scotland, visit the CyberScotland website, cyberscotland.com.